Yo, what up? It's your boy, when JJ Stone, aka O Doctor. Welcome to another episode of IQMZ Tech. We're here early today, so we're on time, but we're earlier than time because we have another guest. And this guest is like one of my favorite people in the world. You see all the little pops I have on my back, and you can't see them, they're blurry. But I always keep my podcast wife with me. She's with me every day, every episode. She doesn't go anywhere. She has to. I'm not saying I kidnapped her, but she can't really leave the premises. But today she can leave. She can sit on my desk today because today I got the real thing. Say what's up to the people, Georgia.
Hello. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited. I've missed you so much. Ryan, get out of here. Get out of here.
It's been a little while. It's been a little while. I did a twit without you. It felt weird.
It's been so long. I know. I haven't been on Twitter forever. I've been slacking. I was going through a whole bunch of stuff. I needed a therapist, but I didn't want to bother you because, I'm trying to keep our work wife podcast relationship, separate. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, Ryan's here. Ryan, say hi to the people. Ryan.
Hi to the people.
So Ryan, I was telling we were off air. Ryan was so excited because he's like, "Did you see Georgia did the video on Fallout?" And someone here, their background and the little things that they're printing out in 3D printing, and they say that all the things are for their children, but all the stuff seems to be in his office, and his son doesn't seem to be getting any of the spoils of war from his Fallout creations. Is out there. So thanks for hopping on with us, George. I've missed you so much.
I know. I was excited to be asked.
You're so busy out here running the world, taking over things, being a spy,
yes.
doing all the fun stuff. So
that was fun.
We have superly awesome, boring tech news to talk about today. So we're gonna do that. And then I have something that popped up on my Instagram like right before I got on here, and it's like not a therapy question, but it's like a legal court question. Like, what would you do if you were on the jury question? So I'm going to propose it to the panel we're going to talk about at the end of the show. So there's a little teaser for everybody.
Okay.
Ryan, first story.
All right. First story is, let me see, I'm popping it up here on the screen. Google's Project Zero has introduced Project Naptime, an AI-powered framework designed to automate vulnerability research. Utilizing large language models, it replicates the systematic methods used by human researchers to identify security vulnerabilities, reducing strain on human experts.
So I put the story in there because it sounds like a whole bunch of nothing that a computer is going to do for me anyway, right? So the computer's doing work now. Like, what are we here for? I'm just doing enough shows, Georgia, that I can do an AI model that will just read the news, grump about it and complain, and then do a show for us, because you read things like this and it just sounds very scary. Like, people don't like this show because I talk about Skynet and I talk about Lawnmower Man. Like, none of this stuff works and it doesn't matter, and we're all going to die tomorrow. Somewhere in the middle, Georgia, is where I stand on AI technology and the uses and how fun it is. When you read stuff like this, what do you think about it? Do you think it's awesome? Do you think it's great?
I think it depends on how it's used. Whenever we allow AI to take over something from humans, if it's something that's exceptionally automated and there's very little chance for failure, okay. But it was supposed to be that AI was going to allow us to have more time, but in the end, it just takes away jobs from people and hours from what they do. And so it's not really being developed to be able to give people more time and more money at home. It really gives the corporations more money and the people less work. And so I get offended even when they want me to do the checkout, the automated checkout on myself. I'm like, no, I don't want to move things across. That's what you pay people to do. I want you to pay more people. So I'll wait in the line in protest, even if the line's really long, and they'll be like, you could go over here and use them. And I'm like, I could, but I'm not going to, because I think that there's a problem when people don't have enough work out there and they're not paid enough. I won't get onto that bandwagon.
So my thing about that, especially at the grocery store, is, do you know how much money I make an hour? I make a lot of money an hour.
No, I don't.
So for you to, you know how much I charge you to scan this sandwich 5-10 times? Like, you know what? Nobody watches this show yet anyway. But, I'm over here, scan 2, get 9 free. If you make me go through that scanner, when something's wrong, I'm not rescanning it. I'm keeping on about my business. There's plenty of times where I've scanned something and it doesn't scan, and I'm just like, whoop, well, that's not my problem.
Yeah.
You're not paying me. I charge a lot of money, and my hourly rate is high. And so to what you said, it's one of those things now where it's like, so you're paying people to watch me scan things
Yes.
instead of having them do it when they're there, but then you want them to work 9 hours so you don't have to pay their insurance, and it's all the scam stuff you're doing to keep people in poverty, and I don't like it.
Yeah.
Ryan, I'm always going to replace you. You stumbled twice the last 2 weeks on these reads. You got one more week. You got one more week, Bucko. I tell you what.
And it's AI, Ryan.
Hey, I'm building up a database. We've got 10
that's what this is really for.
100%. AI Ryan will have less attitude. He'll stop drooling all over my guests and stop wasting.
But people are probably showing up for the attitude.
Oh, you know,
it is.
I mean, that's why I usually keep him on camera, because of the attitude.
Because I'm good looking. That's why.
It's not out of control. Next story.
Okay.
This is absolutely ridiculous. This is why we don't have company, Ryan.
Google is developing AI-powered chatbots modeled after celebrities and influencers using its Gemini language models. The project aims to strike partnerships with well-known personalities and also allows users to create custom chatbots by describing their traits.
So have you ever used any of these on Meta before, on Georgia? Did you try these out?
I have tried out a couple of the different like chatbots, and I had a horrible experience with it. I found it so frustrating because they're like, I was trying to just pick the voice. So I'm like, let me hear. It's like, oh, I have 3 different voices. You can choose from them. I'm like, oh, let me hear them. They're like, okay, I'll let you hear the voice. I had to ask 8 times. I never, ever got the voice. It apologized. Oh, you're right. I'm so sorry. I didn't show you the different voices I could do. Here I go. I'm like, are you going to show me? Like, am I going to get to hear the voices? Yes, of course. They'll be showing up right now.
So 2 things about this. One, when this first came out on, I guess it was like Instagram or whatever, I had the old man with technology experience because for some reason, my phone put me in a chat with Kylie Jenner.
Oh.
And I'm just like, okay, what, how is it? Oh, what's going on? And I'm like, I thought it was a person at first. Like I wasn't paying attention. I thought somebody just DM'd me. And it was so natural. I thought the person was talking to me. I just like, what's up? What's going on? Like, oh, nothing. I'm just chilling. What are you doing? And was talking to me all natural. And I looked up at the name and I'm like, Jenner. And I went and looked and it's like, no, this is not right. And I'm like, okay, I went to go close it down. And my daughter's like, yeah, everybody's on that in school right now. And my daughter said, this is really scary for those lonely kids. Like the lonely kids are really into this right now because they're talking to a celebrity. And I'm like, what? She's like, yeah, everybody's on this right now. And I guess they ended up shutting it down after a month or so. And then now they're retooling it to relaunch it. But like, that's scary. I didn't even think of lonely kids sitting there wanting to talk to a celebrity so bad that they're sitting there for hours talking to a chatbot, feeling and thinking that it's them, because it was very sympathetic in its conversation. Because I went back and played with it. I was like, oh, I'm having a bad day. Oh, what's wrong? Blah, 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 blah. You should try some makeup. I sell makeup. This is like $4. I like, this is so creepy and weird, but at the same time,
now you bought all this makeup. You don't even know what to do with it because you don't even wear makeup.
I mean, I should be wearing makeup. I need some makeup. I need to touch up, a little lift. But you know, yeah, that's a different story. But again, Ryan, you're getting real close to get replaced. We can just swap you out. You know what I mean? We can swap you out.
I'm even cheaper than AI. That's the problem.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
Cheaper than AI, I guess. All right.
He's
well,
found
we just
a feature. He's found a feature there.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like I said, George, I miss you so much, and I see. I already heard you giggling. I'm already thinking like I can just make me a little Georgia bot, and then I never have to bother you again. I just like when I get bored, I can go talk to a little thing, and it's like I'm talking to you. You know what I mean? It's almost the same thing.
It could be until they say something weird. That's the thing, is that especially for people that are really easily influenced or very depressed, this is really salacious. Like this can draw people in because they're not lonely. And it's a horrible feeling to be lonely. And with technology, people feel pseudo not alone. Yeah. And then the thing is that every once in a while, because most of the AI is learning it from the internet, they say something like, oh, Reddit users think that, you know, you should do X, Y, and Z to, you know, jump off of this place. That would be a solution. And if you're already in a really bad place and it makes that kind of an error, something really horrible can happen. And it can be good enough that you won't get help and you'll just kind of suffer slowly for a really long time. because it's kind of like doesn't make you feel like, it makes you feel kind of like there's someone there for you.
Right.
We can get attached to anything.
Do you have internet friends that you fake on the internet?
You.
Oh,
You're my fake internet friend.
well, I mean, just because I yell at you doesn't mean that we're not friends. I yell at most of my friends. Actually, the more I care about you, the louder I get. So,
It's a sign of trust.
the movie Her
Yeah.
is the epitome of like how this happens, because you watch that and it's like, man, again, if you're lonely or you're someone who is an introvert who doesn't have a natural ability to speak to people and be outgoing, and you're sitting there talking to a computer program that's just going to feed conversation to you, oh, it's great to practice, but you could also fall into a loop of thinking that, oh, this is special. Now, I say all that to say, again, AI and the internet is not evil. I've been trapped by many a Russian bot who's just a woman over in Russia who came to my DMs, and she was pictures on Instagram. She was very lovely. And I was like, man, you were too beautiful to be talking to me. But you know what? I got time today. And there's been 3 or 4 times where I've had time just to see where it's going. They're like, just talking, everything's normal. Next thing you know, they say, oh, my birthday's tomorrow. Can you send me $30 on Cash App so I can buy myself a cake? And I'm like, maybe later. And then later on, they're like, oh, I slipped and cut my toe on the floor and I need to go to the hospital. I need $80 to get an Uber. And I was like, really? Show me your foot. And they showed me a picture of a foot. And then I Google it, and it's a picture from 1994. That was from Serbia or something. I'm like, oh man, your foot must be old by now. And it's funny because there are people out there fishing and doing things in real life, doing that catfishing and playing those games. So again, as much as we complain about the internet is destroying people and changing people's mind, human beings have been running cons and scams on people since the dawn of time. It's, it's just that it's more accessible to regular people. And for, like, as you were saying, like for people to get caught up in that are alone somewhere in a spot where they would like someone to pay attention to them. There are websites out there now, runafriend.com and all those things where people just want somebody to call or talk to, like a hotline back in the day. Like I said, nothing's new under the sun.
It feels like an honest exchange. If you're up front, you're like, look, I want you to pay my bills and I'll give you the attention you need. It almost feels like an honest exchange, though. It's not the healthiest of ones, I'd imagine.
Well, that's what that rent a friend thing is. Like I've looked at that just to see what it was like, and someone can pay you $5 to $30 and just for you to be on call to talk to them. Maybe you don't want to talk to a therapist. You don't want a solution. You just want to yell at a wall and have someone listen to you that's not attached to you, who's not going to judge you. That's why a lot of people like therapy too, because they're not talking to a friend that's going to throw it up in their face 2 years later, or their husband or their ex or whatever. So it's neat. I'm going to use this. Like I said, Ryan, you're on very, very thin ice. Yep. And Georgia, I'm going to make all my dreams come true. I'm just, it's just you and me. So I don't have to talk to you anymore. I can just talk to. Oh wait, next story. Sorry, I'm focused on the wrong thing. Let's get back to the.
All right. In an opinion piece for the New York Times, which I am too cheap to have a subscription to, apparently, the U.S. Surgeon General, Dr. Vivek Murthy, called on Congress to mandate warning labels on social media platforms similar to those on cigarette packages. He highlighted the significant mental health risk associated with social media use, particularly for adolescents, citing research that links more than 3 hours of daily usage to a doubled risk of anxiety and depression.
We just did a nice deep dive on this.
Yeah, we did.
George, double dip on it. Is the Surgeon General's cigarette warning going to save America from social media? And where do you put the warning? Like how does this warning?
See, that's the problem. You can't really use cigarette labels, and like in Canada, we actually have also like horrific pictures on the cigarette. Like horrific, you can Google the horrific pictures we put on cigarette boxes in Canada of like lung cancer and throat cancer and what happens to your lungs. And they're like this blackened, charred lung. And it does work. And they're black and white. They can't have any advertising. They can't look cool. And they have warnings. They actually might put them. Yeah, there we go. That is like, you almost have to put a disclaimer, but like they're on the cigarette boxes themselves. And they have them on each cigarette saying that this is going to kill you.
On the cigarette?
Yeah. Now they're going to have them on each single cigarette so that like people don't know, but it actually has caught, there we go.
Wow.
And it does actually work.
Crazy.
Now, that is effective, and we've found stark numbers, and I think education and people are busier, and they're just so busy on social media that they don't feel like smoking. Um, and all of that actually has lowered the levels of smoking. We've also increased the smoking age and all of these kind of
Well,
things, and that's all
everybody's vaping
beneficial.
now too, by the way.
Pardon me?
Everybody switched to vapes now too.
That's true. That's
That's all.
true.
We
Yeah,
switched to
yeah,
vapes,
yeah.
which we don't even know the effects
Which
of
are
that.
now cooler
Yeah, we don't
than
know the effects
smoking.
of that yet, but it's still
Yeah,
what they
yeah,
switched to. But that's crazy. They
yeah.
put it on the
On
cigarettes.
the cigarettes themselves, and those horrific pictures are on the cartons, and it does work actually, unconsciously, subliminally, it does slowly seep in. But for social media, it would be completely different. One is they would probably put it as a banner, right? Like around it. We are completely immune to whatever happens around the middle of the screen. We really don't register that at all. Two, they don't care. They're getting so much more dopamine from being fed, avoiding whatever they're avoiding, and being on social media trying to get that dopamine rush, that it won't matter. And like, I think that media literacy and understanding what's happening and understanding that is much more important than just this little tiny warning. I think that, and not just for that, for advertising, for when, politicians try to use fear to be able to kind of pull us in, all of these different little bait switch kind of techniques they have. I think that they need to teach media literacy to children, and we need it for adults too, let's be honest, so that they're aware of what's happening. I think that's much more effective than just this, like, it seems like this, like, oh, well, we just put a little tiny warning label, it worked for cigarettes. You're holding the cigarettes. There is nothing else around it. You are engaging directly with it. It's not the same effect. And because of that, it's not going to be, I would say, even close to that effective, even if you put it up right beforehand. So,
Yeah.
and again, this is there's a parenting issue also in this situation.
Well, the biggest thing for me, like in sex ed, my sex education teacher, that's how he taught sex ed. He just showed pictures that were horrible and STDs and things like that. You're like, that could happen to what, when, how, and it just made everybody freak out. I don't think anybody had sex for like a month after they looked at those pictures on the slideshow. Nobody was looking at each other, and it just made you feel real weird inside. You had to get that out of your mind to get back into it. So putting a warning on your social media, stuff like that. Again, you're right about the parenting and the kids and education. You have to get your kids early. I got to my daughter, she's had a phone since she was 6. She's had the internet, she's had social media, and she's had viral moments, viral accounts, deleted, well, we didn't delete them, we sell them, but deleted them, started over, gone more private, gone more casual, and she's learned and seen how that works. When she went into school, everyone's like, oh, repost me, I see you're getting 350,000 views, and she's like, you're making duck lips in the bathroom. I'm making Minecraft videos. Like, it doesn't work with my content. Like, I'm sorry. I know you want views, but if you want views, you got to do something else. Yeah. So she understood that because I explained it to her. And now she even says things like, she read something about the people complaining about anxiety. She's like, no, anxiety is just being a high school student. I get more anxiety dealing with girls gossiping and talking trash for no reason than I do about the videos that I'm seeing online. Like, it's more, you might even get less cyberbullying because now it's like in chats and DMs where people are just talking about you. And again, that was the same thing as a text line or the phone when you had three-way calling when we were in high school. Again, the technology just makes it seem like it's faster, but people are people. There's good and there's bad, and you've got to learn how to use it. The biggest thing that cracks me up with this, something like this, like, you want a warning? Who warned the Hop 2 girl that she went viral on something like what she did? And she hasn't lost her job or anything like that, but she instantly took herself off the internet. Like, she tried to get away from everything because she saw it coming, and she's an adult and she knows better. But at the same time, she was out with a friend. She was having fun. She's having a conversation. One thing can spark and just take over a nation or the world. And now you're in the middle of it when you're just a regular person that didn't want it. It's not that she doesn't know how the internet works. It's not that she needed a warning to tell her, hey, don't do street interviews. It's man, you know how many of these go off every single day and nobody pays attention to them? But mine is a viral moment. There's no way a warning is going to prepare you for that or tell you, oh, you're young, don't put yourself out there like in this position. Like, okay, what am I supposed to do? It's so nuanced and hard to figure out. There's nothing you can really do to save anybody or fix anything.
Well, I think that also it's the amount that we reflect, and especially when you're like at those really important ages and you're looking out and seeing all of these people that are doing these amazing things, and they all look perfect because it's all airbrushed and fake and all edited, and a lot of people and like they look at this perfect image of people that's fake and they're doing all these incredible things, and then they look back to themselves and say, well, I'm not pretty and I'm not good enough and I'm not handsome enough and I need to be more buff and I need to do these incredible things. And if you do not have a strong base and a strong sense of who you are as a person, if you spend your day consuming that constantly, it's mirrored back to you. And that's what we do. We often look at a reflection of what the world's doing and then say, then how do I stand up in comparison to that? And because it's all fake and they're, popular because they're doing something that's either incredible or because they're very charismatic or whatever else it might be, we pale so much in comparison. And when you're developing who you are as a person, you don't fully know your identity yet. That can be really devastating to you. And that can cause a lot of anxiety and a lot of, I wish I could be doing things. Plus, if you're spending 6 hours a day doing that, you're not doing other things. And then you feel also that feeling. And then also people get that addiction effect, that you're so addicted to getting this little tiny bit of dopamine constantly that when you're off of it, you're used to this little tiny bit of dopamine constantly. That's the same effect that also happens though with gaming. And so if you're knowledgeable about that, oh, okay, these are the type of things that make me feel like crap. Maybe I'm not going to be watching A, B, and C, or maybe I have to, as with everything, it's about moderation. Maybe don't spend 6 hours a day, maybe do some other things. Maybe remember that this is all airbrushed and fake and not real. But we don't have those conversations. And so then some people end up falling into this and it can be kind of a pit to them. And so it does cause an increase of anxiety and of depression if, you're doing it for this amount of time. But again, it's a tool. It can be used for good just as it can be used for ill.
So just to put it out there, Ryan and I are broke. What we need you to do, if you're watching this, you made it this far, is to subscribe on YouTube. We're trying to get over 1,000 subscribers so we can start doing ads. I don't really plan on paying Ryan. I plan on getting rich on my own and then moving to another country. But until then, if you could just help us by subscribing so that Ryan thinks that one day I'm going to pay him instead of replacing him with AI, that would be super beneficial to us. We are two large rotund guys without six packs. We both have kegs. We're not out here faking and catfishing anybody. George is a lovely, beautiful individual. We're not going to bring her into this slop show that we got going on, but just know that we're regular dudes out here struggling, doing a podcast that hardly anybody listens to. So tell a friend to tell a friend. And if you have a child in your life that's getting on your nerves, make them listen to this podcast, make them suffer through some stories and education. And that's how you punish them. And I promise you they'll be better to you after listening to this. So that's just a little PSA out there for regular guys out here in America. Ryan, next story.
I'm going to start OnlyFeet so I can get some money.
That's right. That's right. You're struggling out here. Dying slowly. Somebody give me some makeup.
I think Kylie had some.
There we go.
All right. TikTok revealed that it offered the U.S. government a kill switch in 2022, allowing the government to shut down the platform to address data protection and national security concerns. This offer was part of a proposed national security agreement, which included measures like ensuring ByteDance had no access to user data in the U.S. and properly funding data protection units, but the U.S. government ceased substantive negotiations afterward.
Ryan, why wouldn't the government want this? We talk about TikTok all the time. Why wouldn't they want this?
It's the same reason they won't solve homelessness, same reason they won't solve the border. It's because they need something to campaign on. And TikTok was the big bad. And now that TikTok's starting to give money to the GOP, you notice it's flipped. Now the Democrats want to ban TikTok and the GOP wants to keep TikTok. It's just a back and forth. That's what I think anyway.
America. Georgia, fix it. Fix it. Why didn't they take the kill switch?
Because people will freak out. They get rid of TikTok, people will be incensed. And the new voting bloc that uses TikTok, they're going to go out there and they're going to start voting against whoever decides to get rid of TikTok. They can campaign on it, they can pretend, they can say things, but they're not actually going to do it because people will lose their mind. And that will motivate people to go out and vote against you. And no one wants to lose.
I keep saying it, and I'll say it again today. I want TikTok to shut down from Friday until Tuesday. Just log out of everybody's account, log everybody off for 4 days, and tell them the government is talking about taking us away. This is what it would be like. I guarantee you every single politician will be trying to take money to have this thing flip back on. After 2 days, I'm not going to say there'll be rioting in the streets, but my goodness, it would be a huge problem. So go ahead to TikTok, just turn it off. Just turn it off for 2 or 3 days and watch what happens. Watch the power that you get back just from turning it off, because it is a political game, and it's like everything else. It's about lobbyists, it's about money, it's about control. It's about, oh, Facebook, we're not doing these numbers. They really just want the algorithm. It's not about we want you in America. We want you to sell to someone that's going to give this algorithm to all the other American companies so they too can get some of that dopamine, crack cocaine, and pump it in our veins so we can all be on that TikTok algorithm. That's what they want. That's what they want.
Yeah.
I think so.
And TikTok will give more time to the people that are, going to help promote it. So it's a losing battle.
And as far as a kill switch, I say this all the time. I'm like, there's a thing right now where America's trying to ban DJI. They're trying to fight with China and turn all these things. I'm like, we don't build anything here in America anymore.
No.
If China wanted to put a kill switch in every single iPhone and just turn them off, yeah, we have engineers that like check things when they come here. But I mean, they could put it in every TV set. They could do something where like, look, here's a program code, run this line of code in there. It's so deep, it's so small, and then boom, all your stuff turns off. If they wanted to, it's all just grandstanding and finger pointing, and it's like we have other things to worry about, and that's why we're never going to Mars. And next story.
What we do. Look, I love DJI. All right. They make some of the greatest little pocket cameras, gimbals, and microphones in the business. And when an American company comes along that does better for as cheap, dude, I will invest in that company.
The problem was for as cheap.
Because they're still getting it made overseas in the places it's coming from. It's like, what are we arguing about? Like, unless you're telling me you're bringing back factory jobs to what we started the show off with, unless you're telling me you're going to bring back jobs in America where we actually build things, we're just a service country. You get weirdos like me sitting and talking to a camera, trying to get a paycheck, talking about stories of the day. This is what America's built on. Okay. Patreon me, Cash App me. Subscribe. That's what America does. Live stream it. Can I get a donation? So it's just what America's built on. It's so weird. Like, unless you're going to bring back manufacturing jobs, none of this stuff matters because they're still the ones creating the things that we have them do to make. Next.
That's true. Going on with another TikTok story, TikTok has sued the U.S. government, alleging that a law requiring ByteDance to sell TikTok or face a ban violates its First Amendment rights. TikTok argues that the law unfairly targets them without evidence of national security risk, infringing on their rights of free speech and due process.
Georgia, I know you're not an American. But
yeah, I don't really buy it. TikTok isn't an American company. How can they then use like it's just like if you're on someone else's platform, they can kind of do whatever they want to do. Like I don't think it's a First Amendment right. They could say that it's not fair compared to other platforms, but I don't know. I don't know how that would be a freedom of speech kind of thing.
So when you come to America, Georgia, are you not allowed the freedoms that Americans have?
I am, but how could they say that making sure that there's certain rules that are in place from companies that are outside and that there's certain securities is a First Amendment issue?
Because America has said that corporations are people.
Oh, I do hate Citizens United. What's up with that? I'm sorry. Citizens United is a horrific standing. That is a horrific thing. It's horrific because they're people when it benefits them and they're corporations when it benefits them. And if I can't be a corporation, then they can't be people. I'm sorry.
I believe in you. I love you. I agree with you. Kudos to you. But in America, madam, they have rights. They're a person. And again, once they cross the soil, whether it be digital or the ground, they have rights because they're in America being used by Americans. Their First Amendment, sue America, win, sue. It's what America.
Do they have to pay taxes?
Huh?
Do they have to go through the same taxes?
I would assume they pay American taxes.
I'd be intrigued.
Get on that, Ryan. I don't know if they pay taxes. But it's just funny because everything you said is right. It's like you can't say that these things are people. They're not people. It's like you do these things for these loopholes and regular people can't do it. That's why I own nothing. Everything's in LLCs and S corps. I am not Owen. I don't own anything. Sue me. Good. I don't have anything. I barely own this pencil. That my iPhone. my car's not in my name. My homes aren't in my name. Like, I own nothing because I've learned that if you want to have something here, you can't have anything here. You can't own anything. It's a very weird situation to be in. But everything you said is absolutely correct. Robble, robble, robble. That's going to be the name of the show today. Robble, robble, robble. I don't know how you spell that, but we'll figure it out. Next story.
All right. The U.S. government has filed a lawsuit against Adobe, accusing the company of deceptive practices by hiding early termination fees and making it difficult for customers to cancel subscriptions. The FTC alleges that Adobe pushed customers toward its annual paid monthly plan without adequately disclosing that canceling in the first year incurs fees amounting to 50% of the remaining payments. I know we discussed this one last week, but now there's an actual lawsuit flying.
You should get in on this. There should be a class action, Ryan. You need to get in on the class
You get your 20 cents.
Yeah. hey, 20 cents is 20 cents. First of all, second of all,
fair. When you own nothing, 20 cents is you could do something. Buy that pencil.
You know, it's funny because we did talk about it last week, and I've never paid for the year up front because I'm cheap. And I do the monthly thing, and I also pretend that I'm a student every year. So every year I have to cancel on myself to get.
You have a student. You have a student. That's fair. Yeah,
I got to learn. Yeah. But it's insane that they don't do that on the month to month, but then they rake you over the coals for the people who are trying to value your company.
Yes,
like
they're trying to do this the right way.
Yes, we're doing this the right way. We're going to pay for the year because we use you, and then you punish them the most heavy when they have to leave for whatever reason. Maybe they lost their job. Maybe they just can't, they're not using maybe your product isn't working for them anymore, which happens a lot because they have bugs and things like that they try to update, or they switch operating systems. The fact that they did this is actually embarrassing for Adobe. They're too big, they're too powerful, and they make too much money to do petty things like this. So I'm happy somebody's suing them, actually.
I would say, though, that's why they're so powerful. Like, they make good products. I'm not going to say that I don't. But yeah. But that's the bottom line. That's what matters. This actually really does bother me, though. Like, when it is difficult to cancel, or when it's kind of hidden or sneaky. I really do think that I think it's California that has the law, or that whichever way that you sign up, it has to be as easy to cancel. I think that is just a fair law. Like, if it's like one click to sign up, it should be one click to cancel. I hate when they send me to a chat bot and I have to argue with a chat bot, which is a very frustrating experience because I'm angry and they're not, because they're not real. Yeah. To be able to cancel something. And I end up saying, like, just one, send me to a person, and two, or give me this much off. I just ask the chat. Sometimes it gives it to me. And I'm like, okay, fair enough. I'm here for another whatever month. But I think that that's a really frustrating experience. So I'm like good on that, but they should overhaul the entire system. It seems absolutely ridiculous to be able to, deal with that. I think the same thing of EULAs. Like, it shouldn't be like I have to read through like a whole bunch of legalese in order to know what in the world you're selling off. Like, if I have to give up 2 toes to use your product, like, I should know that much more easily.
And again, for those who didn't watch last week, that's the biggest thing with this. They hid the fact that they wanted 50% of your yearly rate that you paid out if you canceled. Whereas when I canceled, they upped my rate from $20 a month to $35. I said, I'm going to cancel. I don't want that. They're like, oh, well, we'll give it back to you for $20. I'm like, okay. They charged me the $21, and then they retroactively refunded me $14 and whatever cents from the $35 they charged me the other time. So they also gave me back the full amount plus the overs that they charged. So why wouldn't you just be fair and do that? Oh, you do that month to month because it's only the quote unquote $14 or maybe $20 as opposed to the $300. Well, I also know that you're a business and a corporation. You took that yearly lump sum of $500 or $1,000 from me. You put it in your bank account. You're making escrow off of it from 4 to 5%, and you've already made that money in 1 month. Giving me back my full amount actually cost you $0. It just would kill you if everybody did it. But at the same time, if everyone's canceling their product, then that's your problem. You're doing something wrong. So
absolutely. But most people don't even know. Like, there's so many people that don't ever check, don't ever look. They have no clue that this is being charged them, or they assume that it must be their fault. And so it becomes these huge corporations, it's really hard to be able to fight them. And most people don't have the time, stress, energy. They're working so many hours, they're home and they're exhausted. So are they going to really fight for $15? And they're like, so they end up making making out really like bandits.
I am in the middle of fighting with VPN access, private VPN access. For the last 3 years, they have private internet access, VPN I use. For the last 3 years, they've charged me 2 times, 2 different amounts. So when my yearly runs up, they charge me $29.99, and then a month later, I'll get charged $59.99 for another year. I message them and I'm like, hey, I already paid the $29.99. Could you cancel this $59.99? And they're like, yeah, and they cancel it and I get my money back. But then it happened again last year. And I said, hey, like, all right, what's going on? Why I canceled the other account? Like, it's on the same email, same everything. Why is this going through twice? And why is the amount getting larger? This year it happened again. And I'm like, all right, I'm canceling both now. I'm done. Because as you said, there's so many transactions going through. If I didn't catch that the first time, I would have just thought, oh, well, they charged me again for the year. Now I'm paying $97 for something I should be paying $20 for. And it's like, now I'm just like, I want to cancel everything. And they better not charge me next year because I'm going to switch to another VPN. But it's like, again, like you said, people don't catch everything that's going on with your accounts. There's so many subscriptions and fees. And again, it's so easy to sign up and auto pay for everything. It's just not right. It's not fair. So hopefully, again, Adobe learns their lesson. Ryan, get in on that class action suit. We need all the money we can get. I said we, like I helped you pay for it, but I didn't. But I said we because we're together. Next story.
Suddenly now we're together. You see that? That kind of
Jordan.
Sorry.
I don't want to be one of these kind of husbands, but hush now, woman.
Sorry.
Speak when spoken to, woman. Don't get in business now.
She gets lippy quickly.
Right. Look. Give her the right to vote. Look how she at. Give her the right to vote. Look how she at.
That's what happened. That's why. It's not.
Mute.
They gave me the right. You shouldn't have. Oh well. Now it's it.
Her mic. I can't. Next story. Ryan.
See what I have to deal with over here, Georgia.
Ryan, friend, pal, buddy.
The Onyx Book Palma is a smartphone-sized e-reader featuring a 6.13-inch e-ink Carta 1200 display with a resolution of 824 by 1648 pixels and 300 ppi, designed for easy readability and high contrast, and available front lights with varied lighting conditions. The whole shebang is in this thing. It's running Android 11. It features a G sensor for audio orientation, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, everything you would ever want in an e-reader, but it's phone-sized.
How much is it?
It is $280.
I want one so bad with all my heart. Tell me don't buy it.
I want one too. I'm in the dumb phone revolution. I am
with
ready.
an e-reader, because if you do, it's nice to have something light and small. And I like the scrolling. Like, I don't want to have to turn page. I like that it just scrolls for you.
I've never had an e-reader, but I was over my buddy's house the other day, and his wife had one, and I picked it up. It was a very, very poor decision by me because it was one of those love novels that women like to read. And I read aloud a very passionate passage, and I actually enjoyed using an e-reader. I'm like, oh, this thing's pretty nice. It was super light. It was the smaller Kindle. It wasn't as small as this was, but it was a smaller Kindle, and I enjoy reading. I'm like, oh, this isn't bad. Like, I would probably read more because I'm reading a book right now. Like, and sometimes I forget to take it with me or whatever. Yeah. But if I have this, the battery seems to last forever. I just throw it in my bag, and I'm always reading and scrolling on my phone. So I'm like, maybe I should. But it's $300. I don't know if I'm $300 into the. Am I going to read that?
Yeah, it's in sale. There's a lot of books.
That's a lot of books, but it's better on your eyes than your phone.
It is better on your eyes than your phone, and hopefully it has like the inverse mode where you can make it mostly dark and just the letters are white, which at nighttime is a little bit less. Yeah.
So we need one. We're gonna get ourselves one for Christmas. That is our goal, Ryan, to make enough money to blow it all on a pocket-sized, phone-sized e-reader. That's when we know we've made it, because on the internet we have to floss like we got money, so we have to spend the money that we didn't have on things that we shouldn't get, and then put it online.
So that's why everyone has to subscribe, because if you subscribe, there's a greater chance that you both get this.
Yeah. This is what, see, look, right, you see, that's why
keep us off of Only Feet.
That's why.
Yeah. If not, it's Only Feet. That's a sad way to go.
Hey, look, I got
no judgment. If that's your thing, great, go for it.
Look,
Go for it. Make your money. Doesn't matter.
oh, hey,
No judgment. But
Lord knows we about to get this money on Only Toes. Next story.
That was good. All right, next story. Foxconn has been accused of discriminating against married women and hiring practices at its iPhone assembly plant in India, citing family responsibilities as a reason for the exclusion. This goes against Indian Prime Minister Modi's efforts to increase female workforce participation and violates equal opportunity employment rules set by Apple and Foxconn.
Woman, I allow thee to speak upon this story in your own.
It's a true thing
language.
that does happen. This does happen quite a
Yeah.
lot, not just at Foxconn, especially in places where women and men don't have equal parental rights. So in Canada, men can take parental leave just like women can, and they can take the same amount of time to it. You can kind of split it depending on which way that you want to do that. And so then it ends up being just any married couple that can take exactly the same time off. But because of the differencing in genders of who takes care of the children and the way that systems work, certain cultures, it is expected that women will stay at home or go home if the kids need it and deal with that. And so it is a greater risk to a company to hire a woman that is of the age or is married that will be having kids or leaving and having to take care of them. And so it's something that often happens. It's not just at Foxconn. Like they're using that as one specific case, but I've heard so many of my people that have been disparaged or, pushed kind of aside or not given promotions or not hired. And they believe, again, everyone kind of does this in a kind of more sinister way, so no one really knows. They're not going straight out and saying, we're not going to hire you because you're just married and we think that you might have kids and we're going to lose you. But you can understand from a bottom line perspective that that's what they're thinking and that's what they're doing. So you need to have protections in place to be able to deal with that. And also you should have parental leave that is, equal, so that, it encourages people that want to both be able to stay home so that they can.
That's the biggest thing. This is not anything new at all. This is a tale as old as time. It's the
Are you gonna sing it? You singing it?
Yeah. No, I'm not gonna sing it.
Not gonna sing it?
I'm not gonna sing it.
Got you to send emojis.
So you're the beauty, I'm the beast. We have things to do. But it's so annoying because we've already gone through this everywhere else in the world. So when you see it in a place like India, it's like, okay, but what you're doing it for is understandable, but at the same time, we're trying to get to the point where people have equal rights and equal pay and equal stability in their job place. Like, it's great that Canada does that. America doesn't have that as a standardized thing, but for a man to get off for a time when they have a child, it's actually nice because the woman might have time off, but she's also, oh, great, I have these 3 months maternity leave, but now
we have a year. You can take 2.
Wow. So yeah, you get 3 months here. That's at a good location, getting 3 months. But the wife is also dragged down with the all day with the baby. Whereas if the husband had some time off too, it's like, look, I'm going to take the baby during the day. You get some time, you can go for a walk. You can get out of the house, go shopping, go just breathe, just relax, and not have the stress of a newborn, which is stressful for anyone, let alone someone by themselves in with it, or when you're with a couple. And sometimes you don't even have that person to help, but it should be fair. It should be equal. And losing someone for a time period of having the job is just something that you need to build into your company and into your establishment and understand that it could happen, because guess what? Not every woman out here is looking to have children. Also,
the birth rate's going down almost across the globe.
Yes.
And if you want more people to give birth, which people need, then you have to make that something that is encouraged financially, not in words.
Yes. So
like,
today,
I'm sorry, thoughts are just thoughts.
Yeah.
They don't actually help anyone.
Today's been a day of a lot of political tech stuff, but that is the biggest thing. They want more children because they need more labor force. But at the same time, no one can afford to have the children.
No.
People can't afford to eat.
People are choosing not to do that. Kids are difficult. They make life like they're lovely, but they're costly. Yes. And if people can't afford to eat, they're not going to think, oh, let's add another, mouth to feed to this. It makes it very difficult for people to make these decisions.
And
if they think they're going to lose their job, it's definitely not going to be something that they want to be able to do.
And let's be fair. When I was a kid, my dad used me as a remote control. Get up and change the channel. Get up, turn the lights off. get up, go water the yard. Guess what? All that stuff's automated now. I can turn the lights on from my phone. I can change the channel from my phone. I can set the sprinkler from my phone. I don't need my kid to do it, but that's what you had kids for back in the day.
Yeah,
Bring the groceries inside. Now I can get my groceries Instacarted to my front door. What do I need a child for?
No, we're not tilling the land very often.
Yeah, exactly. Then on travel, I got to take them with me. But my kid's almost grown. I love my kids, so we're good. You know what I mean? I'm just waiting for her to get enough money to buy me a yacht and take care of me. You know what I mean? She'll be on her way soon. But yeah, kids are expensive. The world wants more kids. They need to stop being so greedy. That's the bottom line on that. Ryan,
Truth. All right, next story here. OnePlus is set to unveil 4 new products at the launch event on June 27th, including the OnePlus Ace 3 smartphone, OnePlus Pad Pro tablet, OnePlus Watch 2, and OnePlus Buds 3. The Ace 3 Pro will feature Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 processor with various RAM storage options, while the Pad Pro will also use the same processor in multiple configurations. Seems like a really cool thing going on over at OnePlus.
do you care about OnePlus, Ryan?
I have had a OnePlus phone in the past, and I thought it was a great phone. It was not as good as a Pixel, not as good as an iPhone, but it was pretty good.
Georgia, have you ever had a OnePlus? Have you ever held the power of OnePlus in your hand?
I have not. Have you?
As I said, my daughter had her first phone at 6, and it was a OnePlus phone. And it wasn't an iPhone, obviously, and all her friends were like, oh, wow, you got a phone. And not only that, because kids that age didn't have phones, but it was cool because OnePlus was doing everything that no one else was doing. Mobile screensavers, like backlit OLEDs, always on display. And this was, since she was 6, so that's 10, 12 years ago, with all these features that Apple just now came out with. So OnePlus has always had a little special place in my heart. That was the first 2 phones she ever had. The battery lasted all day. It had all the bells and whistles, and still nobody cares. Fastest charging phone I've ever had in my life. They push the advancement of phones forward all the time, and nobody buys them. So I put this on there to say, shout out to you, OnePlus. You're doing God's work, and I know that I'm never going to touch that phone, but I know it's an amazing phone. I know it is great, and there's somebody out there that's broker than us podcasters with no money that needs this phone because they need something powerful and affordable, and that's what OnePlus provides.
I hope they do really well and put some pressure on Google and Apple. Like, competition is good for the end user. So good.
They really have. They, like I said, they were the first ones with the quick charging phone. They were from 20% to 80% in 10 minutes. They gave you an actual fast charging block with the fast charging cable. Oh, heaven forbid you actually get a block anymore with your phone. So they do a lot of fun stuff. And again, at least they're pushing other technologies forward, because a lot of people steal the things that they've created and started out with phones.
Yeah, and they also include a screen protector and a case and headphones. You very rare you get headphones.
All of these accessories. Yeah, we don't get those anymore.
Anymore.
For the environment.
When did you ever get a screen protector or a case with an iPhone or a Samsung? You never got a case.
No, you only got the screen protector if you didn't peel off the plastic.
Okay, Grandma. Don't peel it off. I like to wait until it crinkles on the corners because I like to have my screen.
What sound it makes.
Yep, that's right. That's so again, we can next story. I just threw it on there just to shout out the OnePlus people in America. The 5 of you, all 5 of you.
All right. In the next story, because we haven't talked about AI enough recently.
AI. Pause real quick. That's all tech is, Georgia. That's why I hate doing tech. All it is AI and the government. Every week.
Well, but now that's the only thing that's really new or interesting. There's other tech news, but no one cares about it.
There's other tech news. Other tech news. Well,
no one cares. No one cares.
Don't make me give you a job of finding this other tech news for me occasionally, bi-weekly. I have to.
Yeah, but the tech news that I like is all the weird stuff. So
weird stuff. What?
Yeah, like robots and creepy things and drones and.
I should have put the robots on.
I'm all into the stuff that would be like just like, oh my God, this is terrifying, and neural chips and stuff like that, and technology that fails, and people sticking their finger in the end of the car to see if what happens to their finger, and it gets crushed. The Tesla, you didn't see the Tesla closing the back hatch on the person's finger.
Yeah. So, okay.
I shouldn't laugh. I'm a horrible person.
I'm adding robot conversation to the end of this topic, but next time I'm making you do all the work for show selection of stories. So just so you know, next time you come back, you have work to do. Finish the AI thing, Ryan. I apologize.
Oh, we're not talking about robots?
Nope, not yet.
Oh.
What is that?
What?
Oh,
What?
you see?
What?
Here we go. Japanese scientists have found a way to attach living skin to robot faces for more realistic smiles and facial expressions. The breakthrough came from copying tissue structures in people, according to the team at Tokyo University. The prototype may appear more Haribo than human-like.
Are you excited now? Are you happy? You wanted weird? You wanted weird? No, don't cover your face now. This is what you wanted.
That is so horrible.
You wanted robo weird? You got robo weird. That's right. Now, first and foremost, don't get all creeped out by this. This looks like a face mask you might do in the middle of the night. It looks like you're all freaked out by so I'm sure there's a picture in your Rolodex of your phone right now where you look just like this. You look just like this, with a green kiwi mask on. You know,
that looks like someone that's lost their skin. That is like someone that like had their face degloved. That is not okay. If we're trying to make the robots more sympathetic and we don't end up with that like uncanny valley experience, that is wrong.
No,
that is wrong. When you think you could dip a nugget into someone's face, it's not a good sign.
Well, you want robots. That's the robot you get. That's the first robot. That's
no,
it. You want
that's not a good robot. I want like the little tiny Toyota robot. You know, the little one that sits in the car and only speaks Japanese. That he's cute. He's tiny. Or like
you want your cops to look like RoboCop. You want a RoboCop robot?
No, RoboCop. No, he's too human too.
See,
he's still too human. That's too creepy.
Okay.
I want robots. I do. I want robots.
So if I gave you a robot, it was a 100% Android robot, and it just was a butler to you and did everything you wanted it to do, but it had human skin and it looked like a sex doll kind of skin, where it's like you realize it's a doll, but it looks like that kind of thing. You wouldn't take it? You'd be
I'd take it. I'd take it in a heartbeat. I'm not gonna lie. I'd take it in a heartbeat. I might have to like put a mask over it or like dress it up into something else. I don't know. I might have to do something because like
my robot's got COVID, so that's why it's wearing a mask. It's got an N95.
That would not be okay. That's not okay.
Look at that smile.
Oh, that's not okay. That's not okay though. That would not be okay. Like the think of like at night, it just staring at you, or like you walk like no, like I don't like dolls. Like, you know, like you look at them and you're like, oh no, that doll has to go into the closet and then I have to burn the closet. Yeah. That is not okay. So I don't know about that. That would be difficult, but I want robots. Like the robot dog, like I want it. Like Marquez has the robot. I want to steal the robot dog. That I don't know if he actually owns
it. What you get, Georgia. You get what
I would take it though. That's the worst part is yes, I would. I would just make another kid.
I don't need a robot yet. I'll just make another baby and just be like, look, go ahead and take the trash out for me. My back hurts.
The robot wouldn't complain when it did it.
Oh man, I mean,
but then like it looks like it's flammable. Like their faces look flammable. It looks like it's I don't know.
That thing just looks like the Blob. Like it just looks like the Blob, and it's funny. But you wanted creepy robots, you got creepy robot story.
That's almost as scary as looking at a Furby, like which were these little tiny cute little creatures that like talked without its fur.
Yeah,
that's terrifying as well. See, that's kind of like at that level of terror. What might be worse?
Oh, I apologize for your dreams tonight.
Be careful what you wish for.
That's right. I did ask for it.
That's right. Back to AI. Let's finish this thing off properly.
All right. AI companies, including OpenAI and Anthropic, are reportedly bypassing the robots.txt protocol, which is meant to prevent web scraping to collect data from websites. Despite claims of respecting the do not crawl instructions, investigations have found that these companies continue to scrape content for training their models.
Really? What? You mean these companies are actually stealing our information without us knowing?
Surely not.
Oh, how could they do that? We better punish them.
That's very un-American.
By making them pay 1% of their profits every year from this, because that will stop them.
It's so funny because the thing about this is like everyone does this. Google, do no evil. They're doing all kinds of evil, bro.
Well, that's why they got rid of that. Don't be evil. They got rid of it. You know why?
Because they kept doing evil. And evil's relative too. It's like, man, I mean, they're not like murdering a million puppies or anything, but it's like, come on, bro. Like, evil's relative. Why'd you put that in the byline? Why was that ever in your business corporate byline? Do no evil. You're not a doctor. Even doctors are smart to say, do no harm. Okay. Like, can we start with harm before we jump all the way into evil? Like, come on. It's just outlandish and ridiculous, but all these companies do it. It's just, like you said, when they get caught, they get a slap on the wrist and they really don't care because it doesn't matter.
But if corporations are people, maybe the person that runs the corporation, if they're doing a privacy violation, they should go to jail. Just like if someone else stole my documents and sold them to someone else against my will, they'd go to jail. Just saying, if we can work it one way, let's work it the other way. And I bet suddenly these companies would be much more careful with our data.
And that's why we don't let Canadians into America.
These are radical thoughts.
Yeah, look, FBI, CIA, we are just regular American citizens. We do not comply, capitulate, or understand anything she just said. Why would we want to do that? Why do we want to hold people accountable? This is America, with home of the free, land of the brave, and the scammers. I don't understand anything she just said, but it doesn't make any sense to me. They should definitely be doing that because it would stop all this stuff from happening. It's the biggest thing. There's a joke in America. It's like, oh, Hunter Biden got arrested. Trump got like, they didn't get arrested. They went to court for rich people. They got found guilty and they're home. Like
they'll be fine.
45
don't worry.
Counts of anything and nothing matters. So I don't care about them. Regular people end up in jail for stealing a donut because the dude's starving. And now he's going to do 90 days in jail over donuts. Like, it's just such a, again.
Yeah, it's just, the words are just don't be poor.
Yeah. Which is why you have to subscribe to this podcast. I don't know if you hear me keep saying that out loud, but at this point, I'm begging you. I appreciate you and I thank you. And we have any stories left, Ryan?
We have a couple, yeah.
Okay, let's try and blow through these things.
All right. Apple Intelligence, an AI feature, will not be available on older iPhones or the Vision Pro due to hardware limitations and design choices. The older devices' processors aren't powerful enough for the required on-device processing, and Apple does not support running tasks via cloud servers.
Well, this is what helps them get around that whole Elon crybaby stuff, because it's all on-device stuff, which they don't need to do, but it does it for security, and it's another way to make you go get a new phone. I'm with you on the second one, because if you ask a query that is too difficult to run on device, it'll still bring it to the cloud and answer it. It's supposed to be end-to-end encrypted in the cloud or whatever database that they have. So it'll still do that. So it's not that they couldn't, it's that they choose not to. Like, I would love to have that. I don't have to buy a new phone, but it won't bring the numbers. This will bring the numbers because no one wants to use head injury Siri to be able to figure stuff out, because she doesn't even understand how to turn off my lights. So yes. And on top of that, it's also going to keep people from upgrading their phones, because you got all the tinfoil hat people. So that's why I ain't getting a new iPhone 77, because they're out there with that LII, and I don't even know who she is. But she talking to me, and I didn't want her, so I just stuck with my iPhone -7, and it called people. I play Sudoku, and that's all I need. So I'm not upgrading to nobody. I'm not letting AI, BI, LI, nobody getting in my phone. Nobody.
Now you're just making fun of people.
Huh? What happened?
That sounded
that was
like
his
some
Uncle
of my
Cecil.
relatives.
He knew that. He knew this person he's making fun of. He doesn't mind. Cecil doesn't mind because he can't watch the podcast because his phone's too old.
Exactly. People I'm making fun of right there ain't watching this podcast. Okay?
It's like making fun of the Amish. It's like making fun of the Amish. They'll never know about it.
Oh, man, I love the Amish.
I do too.
Amazing
jam.
We go. We have the Amish market next to us. They make the best donuts, and all the girls run around.
Best jam in the world.
Yep, I call them bonnet babes. I want to get a shirt that says bonnet babes on it, but I don't know if that offend them or not. I don't know how they roll, but
I think they'd probably like that.
I think they would.
I think they'd probably. Yeah, I think they'd fancy that.
I might try it.
You surely should. You can just paint it on yourself.
Right. If I end up in jail, just come bail me out. That's all I ask. Amish jail.
Well, they would have to do that in person, so you'd probably have time to run.
Oh, wow.
I
don't know if you see me versus the Amish. I don't know. outrunning the Amish. They'll pull up with a cart and a buggy, boy. They got me in the parking lot.
It's so cool.
Ryan, save me. Save me.
Save you. All right. Digital price tags or electronic shelf labels, ESLs, are being implemented by grocery stores like Walmart to dynamically adjust prices for up to 6 times per minute. These ESLs aim to improve efficiency by allowing remote price updates, potentially lower cost, and reduce food waste by marking down nearly expired items. Isn't this the same thing the fast food place was trying to do with their dynamic pricing?
Exactly.
This is
And I love
exactly
that they
what's
say
going to happen.
maybe save you money. Maybe. Yeah. No. No. No, they're not going to do that to save you money. Their thoughts are
What are they
not,
gonna do?
let's think about how we can save people money. That is not what they're doing. And everyone kind of like reads it. They're just going to increase prices when they can. And by a little bit, just they'll be checking constantly and taking the data of how much can we increase the price before people get angry, till people are throwing the mayonnaise at each other. Like that's what they're going to be taking a look at.
The biggest thing about that is that I understand how the world works, bro. It's supply and demand. If 14 people came in to buy mayonnaise because it's 4th of July and everybody's making macaroni salad, well, guess what? There's 32 jars of mayonnaise on the shelf. Oh, we're only down to 10. Tick those things up 35 cents a piece.
Yeah.
Because we know these last 10 are going to sell. Why not get these extra 30 cents racked up out of everybody? Oh, cancel the sale. Everybody's getting macaroni elbow noodles because they're making macaroni and cheese for Thanksgiving. Oh, the stuffing. Oh, we know the stuffing's going to, let's throw 20 cents on there and just rack up money. I will never shop at a grocery store with a digital a pricing unit. It says in the thing, it can change by the time you get up to the register to pay.
6 times per hour. Yeah. So you better take a picture of the price when you pick up the item so that you can go to the register and go, look, this is your advertised price.
No, this is going to end really poorly. Why? Because people are really angry right now. This is not the time to try to mess with people and prices. People are boycotting different places. We have a boycott here right now for one of our largest kind of grocery store places. People are really angry because they don't have enough money to eat. If you're working a job, you should be able to, at a minimum wage job, be able to afford an apartment and food without having to think about every single paycheck. And it's just going to end really, really badly. If they ended up having it be that they could lower prices, people would be fine. But no one trusts. Like they know that the companies are there to make the most money, and it's expensive to be able to put these systems in. They're only going to do it if they can make the profit from it.
100%. 100% is going to happen. We don't like it. Again, robble. I think this is the last story, and then we get on to my special question, and then we can get George out of here and set her free. So, go.
All right. And you always pick a story with a name I can't pronounce. LIFX has introduced the Super Color Ceiling Light, a smart lighting solution compatible with the Matter standard. This light features enhanced color and white temperature ranges, allowing for customizable ambience and efficient lighting control.
So scroll down so Georgia can see the other light setup. Georgia, look at that.
I looked at this and I'm like, I want this.
I want this too. So
I want this so badly.
You can see my
really like this. And they can change the colors. Like the top interface can change the colors. Like if it can do like mood or like little clouds moving back, like I want this.
So our walls are kind of, well, you have stuff on the back of your walls, but your wall's light, my wall's dark. But imagine if we just had 3 of these on our back wall, and you could just like have the panel light behind it.
I have the Leaf one that does like all of the different like light panels that will go by sound or music or just make little patterns. Like to be able to have that to be on a wall.
This looks
please,
cool.
That would be so sweet.
It could be an outline. It could look like a solar eclipse. Like that would look so dope just on the wall.
It would be beautiful. I was looking up how to get it.
And it's only $89. That's a good price. Open source works on any kind of platform or program.
How much was it?
$89.
Oh, that's good. Is it out though, or is it like after like a Kickstarter?
I think it's out, Ryan. Can I buy it?
What I'm seeing right here is they start at $150 and $250 depending on which model they get.
$150?
Yeah, it doesn't seem as suddenly the light seems a little bit less glowy to me.
Are you sure it's 150? I thought
Oh
I read
no, at
$89.
Home Depot starting at $89.97.
Oh, ooh, that now. Okay, I'm back in. I'm back in.
Look.
Everything's about the price point.
Also, what does the title of the story say, Ryan? Oh, at the top. The Matter enables
there we
smart
go.
ceiling light costs under $100. I don't know where you're coming from trying to throw us off of our dreams, Ryan. Trying to take away our
Want
hope,
to crush
our
them.
passions.
This is where their hearts break.
Exactly. You just trying to take away. Don't highlight and reread stuff. I don't care about none of that. I care about what I saw under $100 in tagline. So this is where we start suing people. False advertising, false narratives, bad reading, the script writing, all that stuff. AI wouldn't have messed that up on me, Ryan. AI would not have messed that up.
I'm doing my best.
You're doing my best. But I guess my best wasn't good enough. Anywho,
we need to go to couples therapy. That's what it is.
Well, George is here, and George and I don't have any problems, right? Look, George and I have been married for a long time. We've never had a fight. We've never had a quarrel. Okay, we pretty much run the universe together, no issues. So it's obviously you. You're the problem, Ryan, not me. It's not me. So just so you know. All right, is that the last story, Ryan?
Yes, that was the last story.
Georgia, Ryan has like one of the best wives in the world. This woman is a saint and angel, and I don't know how he got her, but she's amazing. He is lucky to have her. I don't know if he really deserves her or not. He's a good enough guy, I guess, but she's great. So anytime I can take him down a peg, knowing he's living off the high life with the beautiful wife and the handsome young son, my nephew, my sage. I just gotta knock him down a few pegs, okay, Georgia. Don't feel bad for the man. He's over there living the high life with a wonderful wife. I'm over here alone, Georgia. All I got is a digital wife and Ryan. That's all I got, okay? That's all I got, okay? Don't feel bad for that man. Feel bad for me, okay? My podcast wife has been busy. She live in Canada. I only get to see her every once in a blue moon. Feel bad for me, for us. Okay, now let me go ahead and play this story. I'm just going to play over the fuck is the easiest way to do it, and then we'll talk about it.
Chicago woman intentionally poisoned a bottle of wine that she won in her divorce so that if her ex-husband ever tried to steal it back, he would poison himself. He said he deserved a messy divorce after she went through his phone one day and found spicy images of her sister, and they were having a relationship together. So she wins the house in the divorce, which comes with the wine cellar, and he had been begging her to just give him back that one bottle of wine, but she said, absolutely not. After you treated me, you narcissist, you're not getting any bottles of wine. And she never changed the locks because she said this guy thinks he's smarter than everybody, and he probably kept a key so that he could let himself in one night and take that bottle of wine, which is exactly what happened. He thought nobody would notice if he just took one bottle of wine out of 100. But since she had poisoned that bottle of wine, the guy is no longer with us. Now, this week in Chicago, a jury is going to decide whether she had the right to intentionally poison that bottle of wine because it was legally hers, or if she schemed up this whole thing knowing that he would come back and steal it and should be on the hook for prison time.
Wow.
Ouch.
Wow. The audacity of that man and this woman. Both of them. Like, isn't that crazy? So do you think that that's premeditated murder?
Well, you see, the problem is that whenever you go through and you have to, say what someone else was thinking, you kind of get into like a difficulty, because unless there's proof, if we're looking up how to poison wine, or like, because even if you poison your own wine, you could say, well, I was gonna pour it out for rats or other things. Like, it's kind of plausible deniability. It becomes really difficult, but you can't set up traps. Like, even on your own property, you can still get in trouble if you set a bear trap on your own property and someone walks into it. So there's also a certain amount of difficulty if she assumed that he was going to take that wine, or if the wine was actually his in the divorce settlement. Now it becomes an issue of she poisoned something that she knew was his, or if there's already text messages, which last forever, of them fighting over this wine, then it becomes something where they can go through intent, that she knew that he probably was going to have to do this, and her intent was to harm him. And so I think that it's going to be difficult to prove intent, but sometimes there might be texts. If they already, like, people know to tell this story that he wanted this wine bottle back, and it suddenly is poisoned, and she's like, you're not going to get it because the lock is, it's still locked. That could then end up having her be in trouble. But it does kind of sound like the War of Roses, like, right? They're both.
It definitely does. So they divorced. He wanted the wine cellar. She got the wine cellar in the divorce. And apparently this one's very special. He's like, look, I know that I don't have any rights to the wine. Can I at least get that one bottle back? That Chateau de Fortefort or whatever it was. And she's like, you're not getting any of the wine, because that was a sticking point for her, because she knew that that collection was something he had built up, and I'm going to take it to hurt you the way you hurt me. Not changing the locks, thinking that he's going to just break in, because even if you change locks, if he wanted it that bad, he's still going to break in your house. But imagine if, like, I broke into your house and I stole your oxy because I'm a drug addict and I overdose on your medication. Are you responsible for me dying?
What if the oxy that says it's oxy is actually something else that I've hidden in the bottle of oxy, and then you die from it?
Wow.
And what if that bottle of oxy was your favorite kind of medic, and I knew that you always would steal it, and I've switched it, assuming that you'll do it? You see, it comes like there's a few more steps to this where it becomes slightly more nefarious of, like, how well did she know and how much did he want this? Was it a trap? Because if you set a trap for someone else to fall into and they fall into it, there's intent there.
Oh, man. You just turned my whole argument upside down. I had a good argument and he instantly just flipped it, because that is the point. But I mean, yeah, definitely War of the Roses, definitely something that should be in a movie. And just the sheer audacity to, one, it is like premeditated, because if you know that this person wants this one bottle, it'd be different if you poisoned every single bottle, right?
Yeah.
Like you just went and said, hey, you know what? Like you said, hey, I want to ruin every single bottle of wine in my home. This is how I'm going to do it. But to only do it to the Chateau de whatever.
Yeah. And why would you do that? Like, why would you poison wine? Why would you do that? Like, there's no reason to do that. I was hiding the rat poison so the rats can't read the label. Like, there's nothing really that people are going to buy of why you would do that, especially if it's expensive wine.
Ryan, is she innocent or guilty? If you're on the jury, what are you voting for?
Guilty. I mean, the same way if you put a bear trap on your property. I think the only city where you can get away with booby trapping your property is like New Orleans, and that's putting glass on top of a wall or something. But that's the only place I've heard of where it's okay to do anything like that.
I feel this is such a good scheme that I want her to get away with it. I want her to get away with it. This is America. If she was a corporation,
if it was a really good scheme, though, she would have gotten away with it.
True. Yes.
Right? Because the stuff that's really good, we never hear about.
I tell you,
the really good burglars and like that, we don't know about.
You know how much stuff is in Cheetos trying to kill me, but they put them out there on them shelves, knowing I can't resist that big orange bag. You see what I'm saying?
It's like big tobacco.
And Canada's out there putting stuff on the actual cigarettes, trying to save lives. Out here in America, I get this one little box with a little side warning on it that doesn't tell me.
But let's just say it. Canada also pays their health insurance, so we're ending up, the taxpayers, because we have free health insurance, are paying to keep people alive that tobacco is making profit off of killing. So it also serves a purpose to lower the bottom line of Canada. I'm not saying it's bad or nefarious that they're doing it, but like maybe not as altruistic either.
I guess we can all agree the Canadians are the worst, right? Am I right, Ryan? Are you with me?
No, I want to move there. Georgia, where can I go? I need to get to Canada.
They were actually paying people to go to Manitoba. It might have been Saskatchewan or Manitoba, one of the middle provinces. No one was going there.
Cold.
You could go there because, like, for a while they were advertising and trying to get people to live there. They aren't anymore because we have an influx of people coming in. But for a while they were actually hoping to get people to come in.
I live in Texas, where it's basically Gilead from Handmaid's Tale. All right. We're trying to escape. We're thinking Mexico. I'm thinking Canada because I'm pale as all heck. And, I think the climate is more suited to my complexion.
Did they release? Did they reset the porn yet? Are y'all still allowed to watch porn?
No, porn is still blocked.
There's still that's like
prayers up for Texas. Prayers up for Texas. Thoughts and prayers. I know it's not going to get anything done, but thoughts and prayers for Texas. Georgia, where can people find you on the internet? YouTube at Georgia Dow.
At Georgia Dow for YouTube. If you want to hear any psychology of your favorite TV shows or movies or games, And oh yeah, I've done a reality show, a game show, like a mix between The Mole and The Amazing Race, where we do all of these different kind of games and try to survive and vote people out. So you can support me and see how far I get.
And so that show, the trailer is really fun if you watch it, and it annoyed me with one thing that it did, but it's also a cool concept. When you watch the trailer, it's about who is the saboteur, and then it reveals that everyone is the saboteur, which would make you, obviously you probably didn't know until you were at the end of the show, I guess, to know that.
No clue. No clue.
So you're going through the whole show and you think you're the saboteur, but everyone else is also the saboteur, and you're trying to sabotage without making it known that you're sabotaging, which would make me go insane if every single person is messing up all the things that you're trying to accomplish and you can't accomplish anything. So I think it's a great, awesome concept. I'm annoyed that the clip told me that that's what it was.
There was definitely a lot of debate, you know, from people not there to, you know, what do they show and what they don't show. But like, I think that after the first episode, it would have been, everyone would have known already anyways. Okay. So,
but it also makes it more interesting knowing, because going into it knowing, and I'm going to watch it, you're going to be like,
okay.
Okay.
It's almost like the joke is on us, which I think is a kind of entertaining thing, is that the joke is like, we're the ones, like, and I think that those are the best practical jokes, is when you're the one that's like in on the practical joke, like, that, and that's kind of funny. So
yeah, and that, like I said, it annoyed me, but at the same time, it was also cool because the concept is so good.
I wasn't sure how I felt either about seeing that. Yeah,
like watching the video, it annoyed me, but actually watching it, when I watch it, I'm going to be happy knowing that, okay, everybody is messing up and I'm not crazy, because it would make you feel like you were crazy trying to like pick your favorite person, because that's usually what you do in a show, right? Like you pick the person, you're like, that's that, you know, that's who it is, and then you get the satisfaction of being right or wrong. But when everybody is that and you're watching them slowly nudge things to make things go bad, it makes it so much different and a new dynamic to it. So it looks really cool. I'm glad you had a fun time with it. Seems like you had a fun time with it.
I did have a lot of fun.
And
stressful though, but fun.
Super stressful. Almost as stressful as being on this show. Thanks for coming. Oh, by the way, super old interview. I'll put it in the links. Interview Georgia Dow. If you ever want to find out what her middle name is, and you just want to watch us giggle together without Ryan being all in the mix and taking up our love fest with each other. It's just her and I for an hour talking about stuff. See how you just put that away. But again, follow Georgia, listen to Georgia. She knows a lot of things. She's a great, awesome individual. Thank you for putting up with us today, Georgia, because Ryan, you're still my number 3. I don't know who's 2, but you're 3. Georgia, you're number 1. Just so you know, let's see right here. Always with me every day. All right, we're out. Bye.